Greetings and salutation, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Fishing from Scratch. As you can tell, there ain't no water near me, and this hand's empty and ain't got no rod in it. Well, I can promise you that's not from a lack of wanting to go fishing, nor a lack of actually going fishing. In the past couple days, I have been out. It is the dog days of summer, and I ain't caught much of nothing, and I've driven hundreds of miles. So, but, you know, there's always something to be doing, and I've got a task that we're going to accomplish today that I'm actually really stoked for, and that is we're going to do a little work on the kayak over there. I got a new toy. Well, it's new to me. It's actually used. A buddy of mine gave me a fish finder, and it's a pretty good one, and I want it on that there boat. So we're gonna have to get over here and see what we need to get this bad boy installed. So let's jump into it. But so a buddy of mine has given me a Ray Marine fish finder. I have purchased a mount for the old rail, the kayak here, and it's just time to install this thing because I really want a fish finder. Needs not the word. Needs got nothing to do with it. Want, but want does. As you've seen in like some of my latest videos, especially in the kayak, I've been going out on these lakes and stuff, and I'm wanting to target stuff like stripers and catfish. A lot of catfish. I really enjoy those big cats. And doing that without any sort of electronics on the boat, it's doable. You've seen it. I have done it, but that being said, it really does help a lot. So being able to read what's on the bottom, the contours, look for those slopes and those troughs and structure, all that stuff. I can't see more than about 10 feet underwater on a good day, and we're going to fix that. So I've never done this before, so I don't really know exactly what I'm going to need and what I'm going to be doing here, but I am sure that we can figure it out. All right, again, I've never done this. This is the first time, so this is an idiot's guide to installing a fish finder on a kayak. But I'm going to assume the very first thing that I'm going to need to do here is install the mount. So I'll have this thing positioned so I can run the wires from said mount. So we're going to drop this right down in here if it'll go. Slide this bad boy down a little bit. Come on now. There we go. There it is. Okay. So I'm right-handed, and I keep my rod holder over on that side. So I'm going to pretty much assume that I want the unit going to be right around in here. So let's tighten this down real quick and get this thing installed. The thing is, I've got a pedal drive to worry about, and I'm going to need to, you know, kind of said pedal drive. So I want to mock this thing up, get this thing in position before I set anything in here all nice and solid like. So let's get this thing mounted up, kind of figure out where I'm going to want everything put before I start making adjustments and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's just because I just want to make sure that nothing is going to impede my ability to pedal the kayak. That's the most important thing, is I want to be able to have all my, you know, rotating motion of my feet and all that kind of stuff. Nothing worse than getting out on a boat and really needing to like get the hell out of the way of some idiot on a boat coming at you and have stuff in your way. So that's what we don't want. So, okay, I think let's slide the boat forward a little bit. Actually, let's slide it backwards so I can drop the drive down. Ooh, turn my prop. Ooh, come on now. There we go. Ooh. it's actually easier sitting in the boat. All right, drive is installed. Yeah, I don't see how that's going to get anywhere near in my way. I think that'll do right there. I should be able to see it. And I have movements, I have adjustments that I can make with the mount. Now, this is a Yak Attack mount. I looked at a few others. The Yak Attack seemed like the one that suited me the best. And I don't even ask me how much the thing cost. I cannot remember. I want to say it was like 50 bucks, somewhere in that vicinity. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and crank down and go ahead and tighten the base mount down, because that's going to stay static on the boat at all times, and I'll be popping just this unit off. So I actually do have positionals. I can rotate this thing and lock it in different positions if I want to. So, but I don't think I'm going to want to do it over on that side. Anyways, this seems to be the kind of place where everybody that I see that really knows what they're doing in this stuff puts theirs. So we're going to roll with that. All right, so what we're going to be installing, this is a gifted to me. It's been used, but it's a Raymarine Dragonfly. It has down imaging and all that kind of stuff. I've never used this unit before. That's why we're in the process of installing it, so I can do just that. But it is a secondhand unit. I'm poor, so I'll take what I can get. This is actually supposed to be a really good unit, especially for a kayak, size-wise and everything. But it has been installed. You can see the wires have just been cut, and everything's loose, and it's going to have to be respliced and crimped and heat shrinked and all that kind of stuff. Still, not that big of a deal, especially because I'm not even going to be doing the most difficult part, which is... well, I don't know if it's actually hard to do, but it's hard for me to do, which is actually drilling a hole, running your cables on the inside and stuff like that. I'm not drilling a hole in the boat today. I'm actually going to run the cable up the side of the hull, mainly because I don't have the line through kit. I haven't got one of those yet, but I haven't got that yet because I haven't used this unit. I've not tried it. I don't know how the transducer is going to work. I want to get the thing installed, fitted, and actually get it out and use it, and then adjust from there if I want to drill, figure out where I might want to drill my hole and all that kind of stuff later. You don't have to drill a hole in your kayak to install a fish finder unit, but you are going to have a cable that runs up the hole. You're going to have a visual cable. That doesn't bother me. That probably bothers some people. If you're those people, drill your holes, bud. I'm not going to do it yet. But everything I need to do this install is here. I've got everything I need. And actually, I probably got a little more than I need. But I've just got your basic screwdriver. Pretty much all I need is a Phillips head and a flat head for the stuff that I've got here. But I've got a bit set just in case I need other stuff. I've got heat shrink. I got my crimping pliers. Here is the transducer mount. I actually went down to town and got the hardware to mount this thing up. The transducer mount from Raymarine screws into the little plate that comes on the Old Town Sportsman here. I've got me some Gorilla Tape. Come back here. I've got some Gorilla Tape for taping the cable to the hull, because that's just how I'm going to do it for now. I've got weatherproof butt connectors, and then I've got some regular eyelet terminals to mount to the battery. Now here is the battery. This is the battery that I went with. It's an EcoWorthy. It's a 20 AH lithium. I've not used it. I cannot give a review on it yet. That will come, because when I was searching for batteries, there's so much bias when it comes to what batteries to use and all that kind of stuff. This one was in my price range, and this one fit my power needs for what I'm running. So this is what I went with. So we're going to try it with this, but we're going to get this thing fitted in here in just a minute. So all I did is I went down to actually AutoZone, and I got some regular flat machine screws that come with the nuts. They actually fit the Raymarine unit perfect. The nuts actually slide up in the slots here, and hardware from the back, and the machine screws are tapered, so they'll kind of center themselves and let me be able to tighten it in there. And that way, if I ever do need to take it apart out in the field for some reason, it's just basic hardware holding it. So I don't really have to have anything super special, just a screwdriver to actually just remove the whole thing if I need to do that. keeping the things simple, man. Keeps things simple and basic. That way, when and if and when, or just when stuff goes wrong, you can have the basics that you need to work on it out there and not be, you know, lose an entire day of fishing over some foul up. But anyways, there we go. So that part's installed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my transducer here. Where are you, Mr. Transducer? There we go. Whoop. All right. I grab my transducer here and my mile of cable. We're just going to mock this thing up, make sure everything fits like it's supposed to. It is really nice that this Old Town comes with this mounting plate and everything. Oh, we got a problem. It's out of adjustment. This part right here is sitting up too high, but we got some room to move, so we got to readjust here. All right, so I've run into my first little snafu here. I was using these two bottom holes to mount my transducer, to attach the transducer mount to the factory piece from Old Town. They're actually, the transducer mount sticks up just a fuzz too far, and it's hitting the hull. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to drill a hole below those two holes directly in the same spacing. I'm going to drill a hole down below it just to get that extra little bit of space so that it will actually clear the transducer mount. We got it this time, y'all. We got it this time. All right, so I got the transducer installed on the base plate here. The only problem that I've ran into is how high the transducer sticks up above the bottom. It's not encapsulated up in here. The problem that I'm going to run into with that is actually launching the boat, because I'm used to launching the boat. First off, I slide it up on top of my car on the rack up there, and then I launch it usually from the grass. I'm usually sliding the bottom of it on the grass to get it in the water. Having that there is going to have to change that. So bad as I hate to, I'll have to figure that out. That's going to be a problem, but problems are made for solving, so we will solve that problem on a later date. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing installed the rest of the way, and then we'll get this bad boy wired up. I just had an epiphany to solve one problem, and that is the problem of running the wire on the outside of the hull. I got scupper holes in the floor. Let's not do that. Let's run it up through one of the scupper holes for now. That's what I did. I ran the wiring up through the scupper hole. It's going to come up right in the floorboard at my feet. That way it's not running on the outside of the hole to get smashed on something. So let's get us a little bit of Gorilla tape here. If I can get a little bit of Gorilla tape. Come on. There we go. All right. All right. A little bit of Gorilla tape. About yay much. That was a technical term, by the way, if you didn't know that. I'm just going to tape this stuff off. Put my wire as straight as I can get it. Right up to the bottom right there. Just like them so. That way, I believe that Gorilla tape will hold pretty good. It's supposed to be water resistant. It's just something I'll have to check periodically. But I believe that'll hold that there. All right. Now that part's installed, let's get this boat flipped back over and get this bad boy wired up. All right. I've got the business end of the cable here that I want to go in the hull here and run it back yonder. Another technical term. So I'm going to try to fish this. Get that out of the way. We'll see if we can push some rope here and get this back to where we can get a hold of it. All right, so I've got my cable started through the hole like I want to. I'm still gonna have to come up through the battery compartment and come up here to where the the unit's going to mount. But the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to take some Gorilla Tape. Actually, I can tear that in half. And tighten this cable up a little bit. Just like I'm so. Just going to go down the length of the cable here. And instead of having two cables flopped out, I want them to be, you know, kind of tight here. So I've got my connector there. There's already one in line. I probably should have cut that one out, but I'm not going to. It's already sealed, but I need to fire up the torch here. And you can do this with a lighter, but I use this torch just because I have it. Let me turn the camera up just a bit here. Okay. And you'll see what will happen is when you add a little heat, you don't want to put too much, you don't want to burn it. But when you add a little heat to the ends of those butt connectors, they will shrink up on the wire, and there's a glue inside of it that will keep the water out. Now the other thing is, well, you'll see pretty good on this yellow piece here when I start hitting it. See, watch it. See it shrinking? Shrinking right up there. That's what we want. All right. Them wires is weather sealed. I do have a fuse, an inline fuse hooked up in this. That way when I hook it to the battery, it's got at least a little bit of protection. Speaking of battery, we're to that point. All right. Make sure our battery, it does fit, but it is a tight fit. But we're not going to install the battery down in the bulkhead yet. We're going to hook this bad boy up with it sitting on the deck right there, just to make sure everything is working. Now, I did charge this battery last night, so it is fully charged. I'll tell you one thing I'm going to do as soon as I get done with this. I'm going to go and order a box of these screws, because I guarantee you at some point there's going to be 37 of them in the bottom of this, in the bulkhead of this boat. I know me, I know how I roll, and that is going to happen. So, all right, well, let's get this battery hooked up. I want to see this unit light up before I call this done. All right, there's that side. I don't see no smoke. That's a good thing. You don't ever want to let the magic smoke out of your electronic devices. There it is. Okay. All right. Let's hook our connector up and lock it in. Oh, I heard a beep. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that electronic screen on the boat. Alrighty. Now I have absolutely no idea how to use this thing, so there'll be a learning curve going to happen, because you know, these hands and electronics, they don't go together. But they got a nice screen of Dragonfly there. Where's my depth finder? I guess it got to warm up here. Let's let the unit warm up just a second here. We're sitting on the ground. Well, there we go. The unit works. All I have left to do is plop it in the hatches and button everything up. But there we go. We've got electronics on the boat. That's kind of shaky pudding. That wobbles a little bit. But as we've established when I hooked the catfish on this, these plastic rails on the Old Town, they suck. They're not good. This rail system is a piss poor design. It's located in a gray area, but it is the most piss poor mounting system for anything that has to hold weight that I have ever seen. It is not good. I'm going to upgrade these in the future to some metal ones. I just got to figure out exactly which route that I want to take. But there we go. There we go. Battery's hooked up. All I did was I've just got the wire ran in the bottom of the boat here. I know that's not ideal, but this is the battery is gonna plop right down in there, and I'll have to figure out how to get it to mount solid. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with that yet. I'll have to figure that out, but nevertheless, that locks there. All of this cable, I'll bunch all that up and get that situated. Put the bulkhead lid on the front. Should snap right over top of the cable, and it does. There we go. We've got it installed, ready to run, after a little bit of buttoning up, fish finder on the kayak. Yes, sir. Now, let me get all this crap cleaned up, get this stuff buttoned up, and we'll sign off. I just about forgot. There is going to be one fish in this video. Every time I go out these days, if I catch any bluegill, I've been bringing them home and pitching them. Whoop, come here, buddy. In the pond. That way, later on this fall, when I get into doing some more catfishing, there he is. Nice little bluegill. I can come down here, pop me out a few bluegill for bait. That way I have some bait on hand when I needs it. So he's in there. I saw a few other ones swimming around. There's a few bluegill in here. I don't want to put any bigger fish in here because it's so shallow, but there's enough space for a few bait fish. And so that's what I'm going to be doing periodically. Anytime I go out and I'm catching bait and end up with excess bait in the live well, we'll bring them home and throw them in the old pond here. And yes, eventually this stuff will mow itself. If you've wondered why I haven't had any dogs under my feet the whole time I was doing that, it's because I had them put up. What are you doing, boys? Come on now. Oh yeah. You ready? You ready? You ready? Stampede, boys. There they go. And I know this is not what you signed up for. This is not fishing. I was not fishing, even though there was a fish in this video. It's the dog days of summer, and it's really hot. And trust me, I have been beating feet. I've been trying to go out and cut a fishing video, catch some stuff. Just really hasn't happened. And that needed to be done. Because that on that boat is going to open up so many opportunities for me when I do get a chance to go out and actually catch some fish. Having that right there, that's what's going to put a kayak catfish golly whopper on that yak. That's going to happen. Now I'm going to be able to read bottom contours. Now I'm going to be able to go up and jig for lake trout. Now I'm going to be able to go target striper, because I have the ability to see what's underneath of me. I can chase the bait, I can see the bottom, I can find the structures, and I can simply catch more fish because that's on the boat. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you might have learned something, or at least kind of have an idea of, you know, if I want to get a kayak and I want to put a fish finder on it myself, at least an idea of what you're in for. You know, you're going to have to do a little modification, and you're going to have to use your brain. It's not just going to be a plug and play thing. Even if you're buying stuff specifically for the model kayak that you have, nothing is going to just fall into place. You're going to have to try a little bit. So maybe you'll get an idea of what you're in for from watching this video. Anyways, guys, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening. I hope you enjoy yours. thank you for watching this video. Please do the like and the share and subscribe. That way you can see what I post when I post it, because I'm going to be using that unit down there to catch some big old fish. Coming pretty soon. Anyways, fishing from scratch. And what are you doing? You're not going to come up here and interrupt me while I'm talking? What are you doing, little boy? What are you doing, little boy? Oh, there they are. Oh, there they are. We gone.